Judge, you have anything else?
No, I do have a concern about notification as it comes, relates to dispatching notification of the sheriff's office on particular instances. And Sheriff, you may want to address that. It was brought up several ways, and then there was a presentation made to our fiscal court with a letter dates back to what, 2012.
I've addressed that with the State Police Commissioner, and that's between me and him right now, how that's going to be.
Well, I want to make sure that it's
being dealt with.
Well, I'd like to add on that too, because what takes place, and first of all, I'm going to back up my involvement in this. You know, we had a committee a few years ago when we had dispatch here, and the judge at the time served as master, and there was a lot of people who took a lot of time and researched and things, and to make that long story short, I felt that state police was not only from a technology standpoint to get us way ahead of where we were, but to take us into the future. And I would just like to say, I think that through Captain Crawford to where we are now, with everybody I've ever dealt with, if I've had an issue, that they took it serious, they dealt with it professionally, they've gotten back with me. Sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong. There was never any hard feelings. Things got addressed. But I feel like that the sheriff's being disingenuous towards the state police about calls. And I kind of feel embarrassed when the state police has stepped up and done what they've done for Spencer County, not just our fire department, and then, in my opinion, take unjust criticism. A management issue. We are beyond a 911 system of calling people on the phone and setting the siren off in town that we have a fire. And correct me if I'm wrong, and that's why I bring this up. If the sheriff has people on duty and he's not getting called, that's a problem. But if the sheriff does not have anybody on duty, and my understanding for this whole thing, this discussion we've had over the years with various folks in various positions, is the KSP is using what they refer to as the closest car concept. So if you get an emergency call, law enforcement call in Spencer County, regardless of jurisdiction, state police, fish and wildlife, sheriff, Taylorsville police, they're going to dispatch the closest call on duty. Now, I think this is where maybe there's some confusion or misunderstanding or whatever. Closest call on duty. If an agency does not have somebody on duty, they're not dispatching that agency to that call because they have nobody on duty. And I think there may be, I don't know if a confusion or misunderstanding from the standpoint of what I would refer to as an administrative notification versus a notification for 911 emergency response. I think Post has a list of things that in the communication room that they are directed to notify the captain of the post and the sheriff and various other department heads that happen. But my understanding is that is not real-time notification. They're not immediately notifying the captain of that to make a response. They're notifying the people that's out working to make a response. And then, after the fact, when they have time, they're providing notification to him after, hey boss, let you know, here's what's going on in Spencer County, or whatever the situation may be. But I just think it's disingenuous to blame or put the burden on the state police. I mean, if you don't have anybody working, you don't have anybody working.
I'm not going to get into this discussion with you, Nathan. You take care of fire department, I'll take care of law enforcement. And unfortunately, there are other people, including the state police, that don't agree with your synopsis that you just, or people at state police who don't agree with your synopsis that you just described there.
Well, that's why we have...
I'm meeting with those people.
Well, Sheriff, that's why we have these meetings to talk these things out and work them together. We got the radio... we got the radio room supervisor and we got the captain. Let's talk these things
out. I've
had
those discussions with them in a meeting. So everything's already in the works, and it's not going to be discussed here.
What's wrong with discussing things in public?
Because I am the one who's responsible for my deputies scheduling and whatever, not you. I'm the one that gets sued, not you.
The issue is notification.
The issue is that I'm working on that with the Kentucky State Police. It's already being worked on, and we're going to get to the bottom of the issue. Doesn't affect you, Nathan. I don't get my
some of this gets back to, in my opinion, to, being on different radio systems and so forth. Because if you're monitoring, if you're scanning, and you hear a call, you may not have somebody on duty, but you hear that call go out and know and be aware of something going on. I don't know if you're able to monitor those dispatches. On this 2012 letter, in item 3, it says, in the event the sheriff's office unit is out of service, and I assume you can only be considered in service if you radio to dispatch and notify them that you're 10-8, right?
You're not on duty with us until we heard from you, because we can't assume that you're active.
Okay, so
Any unit.
So if nobody's gone 10-8, it says that the sheriff or chief deputy will be contacted by the dispatcher and advised of the pending call. But I guess, I'm not sure what is expected with that.
It doesn't really concern you all at this meeting.
Well,
it concerns me, and it concerns the state police. And I try to have the best, safest possible thing for our citizens. I'm working on that with the state police, and I'm not at liberty to discuss.
Obviously, you're not working on the state police because I'm the post commander. I've been there since September. We've had a couple of phone conversations. I've asked you, do you need anything? I think, no, everything's good. Everything's good. Then you go up and want to talk to the commissioner. Well, I have a major that's coming down here, and we can have that meeting after this if you're up to it.
Because we will have a short meeting after this.
Because the commissioner has addressed it to the troop major. Troop major's going to come down here and we'll have a discussion. Now, if you think there's some kind of issue with notifications, I think the last thing that you were a little talked up about was the issue that we had a murder investigation going on down here. I mean, detectives 10-8, my guys were 10-8, they were called to it, they took care of it. We don't try to pick and choose calls. It's the closest unit concept as it has always been when Colonel Crawford was a post commander here before me. Now, I don't know what happened, after me when I was gone for a period of time working other places, but since I've been down here, you didn't appear to have any issues since we got here. Everything seemed to be fine on the phone. When I talked to you on the phone, I said, everything good? Yep, everything's fine. But then now I come to find out that apparently you've got some issues, so you go directly to the commissioner, and like he's got other things to do throughout the entire state, and that's what I'm here for. I'm the post commander. I run Post 12. If you've got an issue with the post, address it with me, and we can work through it together. And that'd be the best thing to do, because everybody on this 911 board has something to do with that radio up there in the Frankfort area. And we try to provide the best quality service we can for the people of this community, as well as the other 6 counties that I'm responsible for as well. And we're not trying to beat you out of calls. We're not trying to take things from you. We're not trying to keep you from knowing what's going on in your counties. When your units are 10-8, they get a lot of calls because my guys are spread thin. They cover a number of counties everywhere, and they take care of things they're supposed to take care of. Now, they work together at the ground level from what I'm hearing. I don't hear any issues or anything else, and my dispatchers for surely don't go up here and pick and choose what calls they're going to give you and what calls they're going to give the Sheriff's Department or the PD. They give the closest unit that's available to take care of the call. If you have no units that are 10-8 or out that's actually working, they're going to give it to the units that are actually working. Now, sometimes we have things go, did they remember, do we need to do, is there really a necessity, because talking with other sheriffs in other counties, there's really a necessity that you need to know every little thing that goes on with the state police because we're taking care of a certain call. What you need to know is your community is being taken care of with the best possible services possible. If we get the call or your guys get the call, I'm not concerned what your guys are doing or how that call is or whatever it is, as long as whoever the person is on the other end is getting taken care of and is satisfied with that. And that's the way it should be with all of us. And, I hear this stuff going back and forth. Well, I'm not at liberty to discuss it. Well, you should discuss it because it's a law enforcement matter, but it's also a matter that involves all of us because regardless of what you think right now or how upset you are on this, we're not trying to take anything away from you. I don't have these type issues with any other sheriff in my post district. Just you, because you're complaining about whatever. If you had a legitimate complaint, listen to me. When you have a legitimate complaint with the post or the radio room or how things are going, you call me and let me know, and then we'll work through it together. Because that's what I've offered to you in the very beginning when I got here.
Am I clear? You're very clear. What you need to do is contact your supervisor, and maybe you need to listen to what your supervisor told me. Because evidently it's not what the same thing he told me, so I'll be...
Well, I've not been told anything other than to handle my post and take care of things as we always have and always will. Now, my troop major can be down here. I'll tell him right now that you want to meet with him, and you can meet with him. But as far as agency business goes, we provide the best coverage possible. We help everybody out, and we take care of 911 calls. Everybody down here in Spencer County is getting taken care of. That's the way it is, and we're not picking and choosing calls. Now, death notifications per our policy is state police, listen to me, state police is responsible to make a death notification. Now, most time coroners, when we get, because they're chief law enforcement in most of the counties, in all the counties, and if there's a death notification, a lot of times they make the death notification, but the responsibility falls on us. Now, you called me up and want to make a death notification, that's fine and dandy, but the notification was made in that particular incident, and I think that was the only thing you had. Now, your deputies call up there sometimes, and they're rude to the dispatchers up there too, and I appreciate that. You know, we all want to work together, but I don't sit there and every time something goes bad, do I call you or call your deputies or anything else. But if you got an issue, you call me. You don't call my dispatchers. You don't call anybody else. I'm the person you need to talk to. And I will be happy to work with you every way possible to make things happen the right way and that you're satisfied with what you need to do with your deputies. I understand you have calls. I can't help what happens in your county as far as budget concerns or all the things that happen. I can't help that. What I can do is the state police have been in Spencer County long before I got here, while I was here, because I actually worked this county several years ago, and here I am again, you know, as a post commander. And the thing about it is, they're continuing to provide the service they always have. There's no issues at that level. Now, whatever issues you're having as far as calls and stuff, I've never, for the likes of me, have to deal with anybody that's so thinking that we're trying to take something from you. We're not trying to take anything from you. We're supplementing your department with resources we have.
You've missed the whole point. That's why we're not going to have this meeting here.
Well, what you tell us? What's the problem?
Let me say something.
Do you want to solve the problem or complain?
I'm not going to discuss my business with you. I don't expect you to discuss your department. What I do with me. Okay? This meeting, as far as I'm concerned, is over.
Well, fine. If you're done participating, we'll carry on. But I guess what I'm saying is, Sheriff, if you expect the state police to personally call you or somebody on the phone when there's an emergency call, when you don't have any...
I don't expect my citizens to have to sit out here 38 minutes on a home invasion.
Well, get to managing the schedule.
Well, I'll tell you how to run your fire department, and I appreciate you telling me how to run my insurance office. Well, you wanted to bring it in here, Chairman. In fact, I don't even believe you are the chairman. I believe that's Kenny Stewart, and who is the co-chairman?
And I was assigned to do that today.
Who's the co-chairman? I think that's who sets in when we don't have a chairman.
All right, we're not going to go there.
All right.
Well,
any other business?
I'll just say, look, as the chief executive of the county, and we've got the chief executive of the city sitting here at this table, and our priority is the safety of the public out there. Now, when it comes to dispatching, I mean, personally, I don't think that it's helpful to our county to be on two different radio systems, because even if your officer or your deputy is not 10-8, but yet can still monitor what's going on these other channels, then they're going to know when there's something happening in the county, or you would if you're monitoring. You know, I don't think, and that's what confused me about this item 3 on this letter, is, I mean, to expect a dispatcher to not dispatch emergency response because they got to pick up a telephone, or I'm not sure how you want to be notified.
You don't understand how law enforcement works, sir.
Well,
I don't expect
I think I do. And you know, look, it's a matter of cooperation and working together. You know, we've got a system.
It's a matter of whatever you want to try to pretend that it is.
Okay. Judge, well, Sheriff,
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Well, I doubt you're going to get a second on that motion, but at this point, but I can tell you that when we get calls, and we go to calls and complaint calls, it may take some time to get from point A to point B. There's a couple of things you have to look at. Number one, there's not a lot of straight roads down here. It takes a little while to get from one point to the other. Two is we're learning, you know, some of these guys are new. They're still learning the county. It takes a few minutes. And number three, my guys are not going to run 100 miles an hour as fast as they go, exceed the limitations of a vehicle, and have a collision, then nobody gets hurt, or nobody gets any help at all. But
could take care of those calls, and you have those isolated incidents where we could step up our call time, but it all depends on the type of call that we're having. We may have a break and enter every once in a while. We get a lot of those calls. We get a lot of those alarm drops and things. We go to them, and there's nothing there. It's a false alarm. And you have to take those. And sometimes the call response can be a little bit faster, yes, but at the same time, I want my guys to get there as safe as possible so that they can do the job that they're required to do. And, the issue here is the reason why this board is here is because of issues that occur within the radio room that we're responsible for. And, my thing is we have a closest unit concept we've always had for units that are on duty. Now, if you have a policy where, if you guys monitor radio and they want to come to a complaint because they're closer, that's something you have to discuss with the county judge, because that's not how we operate. If my guys are not working, they don't get calls. I don't get calls to every little thing that goes on in the entire post district. When I get a phone call, it's usually a fatality, an officer-involved shooting, an airplane crash, or something that's serious in nature. And I usually don't get a lot of the calls, or they don't call me at 2 o'clock in the morning because it was a B&E, and it took my unit 20 minutes to get there, 30 minutes, because where I'm stretched with coverage, and I have a multitude of counties to cover, I divide the post district up into 2 sectors. I have an east sector and a west sector. The west sector is about 11 troopers, and they cover various shifts, and they take care of Spencer County, they take care of Shelby County, they take care of Anderson County. And if they're on one call, it may take a little bit to get there, but they're going to get there. And anytime they're dispatched on the radio to go to a call, they will go. There's no reason why they won't. Now, realistically, you look out here at the dynamics of them driving out here. We don't have, if you go to the eastern side of the post district, everything's 4-lane highway. It's fairly quickly you can access one point to another point. When you get into rural areas like in Anderson County and Spencer County down here, everything's a curvy road. There's only one straight road, 2 straight roads out here. You got 155 and 44 that goes out 248. Everything is a bunch of curves. And again, these are younger guys that are starting to learn, but they're still taking care of the calls for service that's required.
I don't think 1,000-man police agency needs to be run. Has to be run. All right, let me first finish. I don't think a small agency can be dispatched the same way the 1,000-man agency is.
Okay.
But I've had that.
It's a 1,000-man department, but it's still a rural police department is what it is.
We police rural, and that's our mission,
way
that's our
it is.
goal. And when we get on calls, we take care of it.
Y'all don't understand what I'm saying?
Well, make us understand. That's what this board is for.
And that's what we're listening to, because we want to understand. I want to understand what your issues are, buddy, because
We'll
have
come
to
to
me,
me,
and we'll hopefully... Why is it that we have to wait, on the commissioner or the troop major, whoever, and he's coming? But here's the thing. Why couldn't we sit here and have this discussion, or you had a concern initially, you couldn't discuss this with me, or you couldn't discuss it with the last post commander, or the post commander before that, or the post commander before that, or Colonel Crawford when he was a post commander. So you've gone through 5 post commanders
And when we went
in
to
a number of years.
2012, that wasn't a problem. What that was right there.
Oh, so now all of a sudden it's a problem.
That 2012.
Nothing
They
has
called
changed
us.
in that.
They called us, and we answered the calls if there was nobody on.
Well, guess what? When we have guys that are 10-8, and my policy is if we have people that are signed to call out, or they get called out, that anybody in the agency, the state police's work, they're subject to a call out at any time, 24/7. And that's the way we operate. And the thing about it is if I don't have a unit, or if I have a unit that goes in at 4 and something happens at 4:05, he's getting called back out. That's the way it's always been. That's not changed with the agency as long as I've known it, as long as I've been working here. So you're trying to say that we hold calls from you that we can't call you?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then explain it to us, because I'm trying to understand
I'll
what you
explain
want.
to you. Let's use the home invasion. And I'm done with examples, and I'm done with this. It's a journey one way or another. I'm not going to be after this.
So you don't want to solve the problem. If you don't
I
want
do
to
want to solve the
solve
problem, but I want to solve the problem sitting down talking with police officers.
Well, then
Somebody
you
just talk to the
got all
captain.
kinds
That's
here.
the one that's
38 minutes. I don't understand secondary roads. I understand crooked roads. I understand it takes you 38 minutes to get there. I don't have a problem with that. But when I got a deputy that lives a half a mile away and I live 5 miles away, if I'd have received a phone call, I believe I'd have been there long before 38 minutes. In 2007, see, that's it. We're getting to it
buddy.
That's the issue.
In 2017, that's not how we operate.
Well, I bet
50
the person sitting in the shower
I
out there
got,
with somebody
let's just
made
say
their home wanted
this, I got
somebody there
55
like
volunteers. I got 55 volunteers. Do I expect Houston to call them every time we have a run and say, hey guys, got a fire, got a fire, got a fire? There's better systems out there than that.
It's not working.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not talking to you.
You don't,
This is not your issue.
Well,
hey, I'm on the committee. I'm trying to help you solve the problem.
it is an issue for the county and the city, but
If that's the case, Sheriff, you have a radio and you be on call,
This
just
is,
like he
this
said.
is an issue
Answer
that
the
I've been
radio.
discussing. Sorry you got over the line about it. Sorry you're upset about it. I did what I was told to do. I'm sorry, that's what I did. If it upsets you,
No, he's the point of contact though, buddy. He's the one that's over the radio room. He's the
I did
one.
what I was told to do.
By who? Who told you to do that? You're not going to tell us, right?
I did what I was told to do, the commissioner.
Well, so you jumped right over the post commander instead of trying to solve the problem.
I
You
did
went right
try to
to the
solve it,
commission.
but I'm not going to get into this. I'm done. Y'all want to talk about something else, we won't go on the next meeting. I'm trying to solve the problem. You want to come over and meet with me, Captain? We'll have one more meeting.
Mayor,
I'll wait till the troop major gets here and we'll have a
maybe,
meeting with
maybe
you.
the two of us need to talk to Commissioner Sanders and, you know, first of all, look, and I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you maybe had an issue or an issue that brought to you that involved dispatch. Frankly, I have never had a problem of getting a hold of either Crawford or Walker or even Captain Wine is here or Houston to try to resolve it. I mean, there's never been a problem, never, you know, had a problem in resolving these issues. That's what I'm baffled with. You know, if you don't, if your police department, if nobody comes on Saturday and says, oh, I'm 10-8, you have nobody on duty. Would you expect dispatch to pick up the phone then and call Kenny or somebody to say, hey, we've got a home invasion? You want somebody on duty. The call is going to go out. If he's able to monitor, if his deputies are able to, maybe they're not at 10-8, but if they're able to at least monitor that radio, they'd hear that call go out. They'd know what's going on out there. But to expect dispatch to, in the course of dispatching emergency services, to expect them to say, oh, wait a minute, can't dispatch that 10-8 out there, somebody that we know's on duty. We've got to pick up the phone and call whoever the sheriff in this case wants them to call. I mean, that just is unreasonable. You know, they're going to dispatch whoever is available, and you know, it gets back to, you know, whatever it is, scheduling or whatever. I don't know how to you know, but you've got to have somebody willing to
We didn't have a problem
out
in 2015, Judge. Guess who showed up that day?
We had progress.
Until 2015.
No, we had progress show up.
Well,
I don't think it's
I'm
helpful.
not discussing the inner workings of the sheriff's office any further in this meeting. Be more than glad to meet with the captain after the meeting's over.
See, I don't know how that's helpful, but that's, you know,
Because it's got too many opinions and too many people interjecting and don't understand what the issue is. Have a good day.
God bless.
well,
You know, Judge, you addressed some questions to me on that. Let me just give you an overview. Not sure how specific I can